All right. Welcome. I'm here with Dr. Castelli. Really appreciate you jumping on and taking some time out of your day. I know you're super busy with all the patients we've been sending you.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hey, real quick, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Can you give us a little bit of background? The doctor's watching, jumping
Mhm.
on, or maybe on the fence, or looking for something to scale up their practice. Can you just start off and give us a little bit of a background on your practice, kind of what you're doing, and
Sure.
a little bit about your story?
Yeah. So it's a integrated practice. I mean, not a lot of staff. I've got front desk, massage therapist, nurse practitioner, me, and then office biller, and a supervising medical director. But yeah, I've worked with companies on and off for years, and had my series of frustrations. And by the time I came across you guys, just to say I was a little jaded and bitter is an understatement. So I will say, like in the years past, I mean, I've had some companies that initially got off to a good start and then fizzled out and then complacent and then just, it just came to a point where I had to jump ship. Um, but I can say, since working with you guys, there's been good communication. Um, you've been able to acknowledge my situation because I'm kind of in a hard position at this, but I knew I had to do something more. And you were willing to gave me references when I asked for it. I didn't get to run around on that, so I was like, okay, like they're not balking at that. And you guys over deliver, which is pretty cool. In other words, like you gave, the the marketing aspect, the scripts, like just the systems. And even on top of that, you go into like mindset training and things like that, which, I mean, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, right? Like always know that that's a big part of it, of 20% tactical, 80% psychology, like that type of stuff. So because I saw that, it also like made me think, all right, this is congruent with what I like to do and what I think is going to work. But yeah, I can see you guys are on it. I send a message or an email, you or Robin gets back to me pretty promptly, figure out a solution. Um, so it's just a matter of, like, overall, I call it having integrity, doing what you say you're going to do, and that's what you guys have done. So I'm happy to say that and share that with you and with the docs that are watching this, because it's been super helpful. And the other thing too is, even seeing, I'm getting these messages like your ads have been approved, right? Which tells me, okay, look, they're actually updating the meta ads and that type of stuff. So keeping those up to date, or keeping those active, monitoring those numbers, delivering the reports every Monday. And then, yeah, the check-ins, so just staying in communication. So overall, I mean, just been a really good experience. I'm really grateful.
Mm, 100%. Hey, I appreciate that. And let me step back. I mean, you mentioned a little bit of it there. What was it specifically that, I mean, like, what were your challenges? Kind of where were you at in practice? I know you mentioned you'd hired a couple different, companies, and you weren't really seeing the results, it sounds like. But like, can you take me back to that time when, before you did pull the trigger and jump in? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, it was frustrating because we would get leads, but getting them to get in the door, right? And then some of the companies barely got any leads, even though the ad spend was the same or higher than what I've been doing with your company. So I know it wasn't that I was being cheap, all right? It was, they just weren't getting the results. And it's frustrating because over a period of 2 years, um, I've gotten less neuropathy starts than I got with you guys in the last like 2 months, right? So like, I, whatever you want to call it, there's a huge difference there. And that's why I was getting to a point where I was like, all right, I guess this just isn't going to work. But I, sucked it up and I said, all right, let me give these guys a shot. And like I said, knock on wood,
Yeah.
and we've been doing okay.
That's fantastic. Same, more volume in 2 months than in 2 years.
I mean, it's been so frustrating. Like appointments booked. Just it became like the norm to just assume they're not going to show up after a while. With me and Ashley, it was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So
what was it? You mentioned a little bit about the references and what you were seeing before. What was it though? I mean, that did make you really, was there anything else that, I mean, like when we were initially talking and you were considering starting with us, that made you hire us, especially because, I mean, like you mentioned, you've had numerous other companies, were jaded. I'm sure you're probably getting called left, right, and center all day long still to this day from other companies. Like, what was it then that made you pull the trigger?
I spoke with, so interestingly, I spoke with 2 of the doctors, and one was Dr. Miller, and I can't remember the conversation now, but I mean, it definitely made me feel good. It was like, okay, he was very like, and he was I forget how long he had been with you guys. And that's one of the things he also noted too, is like they're staying on top of it. Like that was the thing, is like staying on top of the ads and keeping things fresh, monitoring the numbers. And then the other doctor I knew from another practice management group, and they had really good things to say as well. It's so that was like the perfect combination of like, okay, I feel better, right? Like it's not fly by night, gonna take your fee and then 3 months get out of here kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely felt good talking to them, and that was really helpful.
Cool. And can you walk through, so what are the results, and I'll share my screen too and go through it, but could you talk about what have been the results so far since you have started with us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting starts, whether they're like mini cases or full blown cases, right? And when I say that, I say the ranges might be 2,500 to 10,000. And I mean, last week we started two 10K cases. So that's a first for us, and that was a big deal. And it's give me confidence to add some services. So we started with Shockwave as well,
Nice.
or Softwave. So just those kind of things, just being able to build from those little wins from there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, between the resources that you provide, like the new financing companies that have actually been working out, like those type of things as well. Like that's what I meant by like there's value, right? It's not just them putting ads out for us. They're helping us. We do there's the calls on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I know you get in what you get out of it what you put in, right?
Yeah.
So get on those calls is helpful when I'm on there learning things and sharing ideas with the other docs. And then learning, like with Karen as well, who ran an amazing clinic, and just getting that feedback, all those type of things, and going back to your day ones, I systemized my recordings. So it's a default, day 1, day 2, always get recorded now. All those practices, are having a cumulative effect, and I'm starting to see it now.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. 2 starts, 10K each. And you must be spending, I'm sure you're spending what, like 10K a month in ad spend or something?
Right. Yeah. No, like I said, keeping it the same. That's just 1,500 in ad spend a month.
So I just want to show this. Yeah. So we started, it looks like kind of towards the
end of April.
Yeah, end of April, $1,000 in ad spend. And really it hasn't been like yeah, you're not spending 10 grand. 1,651 was spent in March. We're spending about, it looks like 55-ish bucks per day. And yeah, 7 starts from $3,949 in ad spend to date. $564. And he said average 2,500 to 10K is the cares. What would you say maybe has been average? Get
Yeah, I'd say 65, 7,000 would be the average.
Yeah, I mean, so you're at probably that might calculate to like a 12x, if you will, return on the ad spend alone. Um, you know, yeah, numbers look really good. That's phenomenal. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then 7K, that would be roughly probably 50K maybe in the last like 2.5-ish months or so. And basically additional revenue.
Right. Yeah.
Phenomenal. From 50K in ad spend too. What would you say? What would you say to people who are on the fence and similarly, maybe they're jaded or are considering trying something new? What would you say to those folks?
Yeah, get on a call and just I mean, talk to you guys. Definitely hear them out and see. I mean, to me, it made sense, and it was reinforced by the references of the docs that I talked to. So I know like one of the things you had stressed was like, you have to have something to make you stand out within your marketing, right? You have to be an authority, or you have to have something else, because there's so much noise out there right now. And so, yeah, you guys do a good job at putting that out there for the doctors, for me. And then, yeah, the systems that you help us put in. So, and I remember Dr. Miller even said it's kind of like, it's like a combination of like consulting and marketing, and that's what I meant by the value side of it. Like they're bringing more value with it. So the management fee is well worth it, because we're actually seeing that now. Whereas, unfortunately, there's been companies where it just certainly wasn't. And that, I mean, you're going to have that, but don't be jaded. Definitely, check out Zach and Think Bullish for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you feel like we haven't covered that you want to add, Dr. Caselli?
No, it's just, I was just getting a kick out of it. I got on the call, you guys, last week, and you were just listening in on one of my appointment settings, kind of, and the guy was quite a character, as he got cut off in traffic and cut us off, and we got a good laugh out of that. But it just showed me like, yeah, like they're checking in, quality control, comparing, seeing how we're doing on even those individual calls for leads to get them scheduled. So that was good.
Awesome. Awesome. 100%. Hey, I appreciate you being willing to share.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to continue to grow with you.
Same here, man. Thank you for everything.